watching it.
Do you want to read the full headline?
Where's the locker room? Can you please pull up locker room so that we live and in person? It is Tiger. Find her up on Twitter.
So who am I not to come and end my 2K? And that's why I'm here. Good morning, everybody.
And a good morning to you too. Make sure you catch us. We are live up on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. Leave your comments up on that live stream. Make sure you do. Make sure you do.
You can also reach out to us on WhatsApp, and we're going to open the phone lines today. Yes?
Later
on as the show progresses, but you can send your WhatsApp messages to 0809-444-0981. So as per usual tradition,
Heidi, you really like to you really do like to give out the phone lines ahead of time.
Really fast now?
You always do that.
I do that.
I didn't know that. They want people to talk.
Yeah, as a new tradition goes, so let's start with that's exactly how they lost ground. In France, Verratti inspires PSG to win against Reims. That match ended 4-0 in favor of PSG, but there was a lot of drama before they eventually scored. Then we talk about the big elephant in the room. How we stopped Nigeria. That was what the Tunisia coach tells us his strategy after the match. And then Ziyech Jem fires Chelsea to victory over Spurs. So we'll talk about that big one. Should there have been a red card in that game? Should Harry Kane's goal have stood? We'll talk about all of that. And then the young slate for Barcelona after Real Madrid were pinned by Elche. That match ended in a 2-2 draw. Real Madrid were trailing by 2-0 till 11 minutes to the end of the match. 2-2 it ended. So feel free to send us your thoughts on any of those stories, because the Super Eagles may take all of our time. So I hand back over to Kayode to take the first story.
All right, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about Rafael Nadal. So Rafael Nadal survived an epic 28-minute tiebreak to seal his spot in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open, and top seed Barty joined him with victory over giant killer Amanda Asminova on Sunday. So Nadal says first set was very emotional. That crazy first set was so important.
Okay, so huge deal for Rafa Nadal. He came up against Karen Khachanov. Now, if you know anything about Karen Khachanov, he's actually he's more than a decent tennis player. So I expected that he would give Rafa Nadal something to worry about. But Rafa Nadal, with his tenacity, with his usual doggedness, had a very good day. I think it was a very forgettable display by Karen Khachanov. Should have done better. You will still expect that Rafa Nadal will edge it just a little bit, but the fact that there was no fight coming from Karen Khachanov's side of the court was really shocking for me. On that note, on the other note, Ashley Barty faced Anisimova. Remember, Anisimova has been in great form since the start of the season, and then she was also the lady who knocked out Naomi Osaka in a very close tight, I think it was a third round battle. She faced Ashley Barty, but she didn't have the same fight. She didn't have the same urgency. I think Ashley Barty was prepared for her, and that's the topic of today. How preparedness is more important than talent.
We have it up on the board.
So she was very prepared. She was very prepared for her. Everything she brought to the court, Ashley Barty had an answer for. Unfortunately, she didn't have an answer for Ashley Barty's big serves and big forehands. So she's out. But a big seed fell over the weekend, and it was Sasha Zverev. Now, he was beaten by Denis Shapovalov, and yes, Denis Shapovalov is a good player. However, nothing worked for Sasha Zverev on the day. He couldn't hit his first serves. He couldn't return well. All his forehands were too long. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. Denis Shapovalov had 10 double faults, and he still won the set. Is it? Yes. He still won the set. It's the kind of thing that with 3 double faults, Sasha Zverev has ended the match. This guy had 10. I kid you not, nothing worked. He'll get some free points off his big serves. He didn't get anything. It was a horrible display, and I like what he said at the end of the match. He said, "I've not played that kind of horrible match since Wimbledon 2014. What year is this?" So it was a tough one, but yeah. as it goes, Simona Halep also crashed out this morning. But given the form of Simona Halep, I mean, the fight has come back into her. But given the form of Simona Halep, not really surprising. I think what would be more surprising is that she lost to Alize Cornet, who has always been a promising talent, but has not ever really put in the work. But today she did put in the work, and so back-to-back scalps, she's taking off some very good players right now. So Alice Cornet is having a good Australian Open.
And
so
I was watching out for Azarenka out.
Yeah,
injured.
she was beaten. Shockingly.
And that is that. All right, let's move on. Oh. Okay, so we're getting closer. We're getting closer, people. Burkina Faso edged Gabon 7-6 on penalties after a 1-1 draw in an epic Africa Cup of Nations round of 16 clash at the Limbe Stadium on Sunday evening. Now, the Stallions really should have won the game in regulation time, having enjoyed a lead established through Bertrand Traore for over an hour, and against a team which was reduced to 10 men. But the Panthers simply refused to be beaten and sent the game to extra time.
Yes, so tough fixture for Burkina Faso. When I was looking at the teams that will make it past the round of 16, I didn't count Burkina Faso as one of them. But they were fortunate; they got a good draw against a Gabon side that sent Aubameyang back to the Emirates because they said he had lesions in his heart.
That's the
scan.
goal.
Yeah, but they came up against a Gabon side. They scored a brilliant goal by Bertrand Traore, then missed the penalty. The goal should not have gone in, but the way they took it, it was exceptional. However, they missed the penalty by Bertrand Traore in regulation time, and then Gabon went one man down and still found a way to equalize in the 92nd minute of the match. Literally few minutes or few seconds to the end of the regular 90 minutes, and then they got into extra time where Gabon was the one that looked the more threatening side. Then they got into the penalty shootout. Now in the penalty shootout, the Gabonese players had a problem with their penalty because I didn't know why they were all skying their penalties. However, for each time the Gabonese missed a penalty and it looked like Burkina Faso was going to take it, Burkina Faso also missed a penalty. So at some point, they didn't look like they were going to win. It got to sudden death. Eventually, they were able to wrap this up. But what it means is Burkina Faso is through to the quarterfinals and Gabon are out. So it leads us to another team that was ousted yesterday.
Wow. All right. You know what? Let's talk about the Nigerian team. But this one comes from the coach. That's the Tunisian coach. Now, he says, well, how he stopped Nigeria. Now, he opened up basically and he says his boys stopped Nigeria from progressing to the quarterfinals in the ongoing 2021 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon following their impressive performance against Super Eagles. He says, Okir says, today we came up with tactics to put pressure on the Nigerian wingers because they are very dangerous. And we also know they have difficulties when they lose the ball. He's right.
Yeah, so their tactics worked on the day. Huge one. So let me start from before I start, it's not a blame game. So let's start from.
Yes, let's blame people. I have two people I want to blame.
I don't care what.
I blame Kadi.
I blame Olafin. That's Olafin. I blame Aino, and then I blame that fine boy goalkeeper.
I don't want to start. Let me start from beginning. First of all, again, this is where I would say preparation beats skill or talent. Now, the Super Eagles obviously were the better team coming into from the group stage into this one. The Tunisians prepared to play a dangerous team. The Super Eagles did not prepare to play a dangerous North African side. Remember what I said on Friday when I said they had all the tactics. They had all the tactics, and they used all of them. First things first, they slowed down the game to their pace. And the Super Eagles have always gone into their games with a little bit of aggression and urgency all through the group stages. Even when they had qualified against who was the last team they played? I think it was Guinea.
Yes.
Even after they had qualified, they still went there with some urgency. This game, they took their time. The Tunisians were guarded. Yes, they didn't give you enough room to play, but the Nigerians slowed down the match to their pace. That was the first mistake they made. The second one was that the Algerians knew that the threat of Nigerians came from the wing. So from 5 minutes into the game, you could see that they were double marking Moses Simon. All right, he's been double marked. Then pass the ball through the middle. You have a Joe Aribo there who can strew passes in through the middle. Pass the ball through the middle. They were still trying to go through the wings. and I didn't understand it. And then we come to the goal. Now, a lot of people blame Maduka for that goal, but that goal, Maduka was the last line of defense, so he's the last problem in the goal. But he wasn't really to blame for that goal. That goal started from the midfield, where the player I know was beaten. He went back to hold his position, which he should have done. But Wilfred Ndidi is the man that knows that your defender has been exposed, so you are the last point of call. If you can't do anything to stop him there, foul him there. He escorted the guy. The guy ran with the ball. Ndidi was escorting him. The guy set up to take a shot. Ndidi was watching him. The guy took the shot. Ndidi was still watching. Like, wow, wonderful. I've never seen a shot taken. So yes, Maduka should have done better with the save. But if you ask me, that shot shouldn't have been taken in the first place if Ndidi did his job. Ndidi didn't do his job. And it comes down to the story of the day. A lot of people didn't do their jobs. And so it went from one problem to the other. And then some of the ball will stop at Augustine Eguavon's feet. And that's not just because he's the coach. But he has been reading games all through. The first 45 minutes was a poor display. How about the second 45 minutes using to re-strategize? He didn't. They came out exactly the same way. It was after the Super Eagles conceded a goal that they said, got the red, Iwobi got the red card. That's when the Super Eagles really started playing. And the red card was a red card. I'm sorry, it should have been a red card in England, but the fact that they gave it in Africa doesn't make it any difference. It's a red card. It should have been a red card. It was not intentional, but it was dangerous. No, it was not intentional, but it was dangerous. You have to be aware of the things that are around you. And he put out his thoughts to protect a ball that was in his possession because he wants to do London dribble. You can't do that. That was dangerous play. So yes, a yellow card could have sufficed if the referee was looking at it that this is a big game. A yellow card would suffice. But he was in a place to give that as a red card because it was a red card. It was stalled to the guy's ankle. Red card, dangerous play. Whether it's intentional or not, it's dangerous play. So red card, yes, should have been given, but the Super Eagles didn't do their job all the way from the
substitutions didn't come in as well.
Yeah, so it's a horrible game. So now we're going to open the phone lines for you guys
after the break.
I
just realized this thing was so involving, and we were so
so we're going to open the lines after the break, and you can tell us.
We took a little extra time, but don't you worry. That is the end of this part of the locker room, which was brought to you by BetKing. We see your messages, and we'll hear your calls as well right after this.
This is just all of you that saying it shouldn't have been. It's a red card.
Wow.
Stupid red card.
Those Tunisians are stupid.
Hello.
No. Cheats.
No. It's not cheating. Even I standing here, I knew they were going to roll on the floor. I knew they were going to try and look for how to get to a red card. That's what you prepare for. You prepare to play
in fact, I think that red card was even in our favor, because that's when we now started playing.
Yeah. So we'll come back with the messages. The one that Sadiq Kumar that should have entered. I'm telling you. They didn't do well. Let's not go there.
But we had a bad draw, so that's another problem.
A bad draw.
A bad draw with Tunisia.
No.
We had a bad draw.
No, it's not a bad draw.
Bad luck.
No, we won our group, so you should have prepared to play anybody. I know. Tunisia finished with only 3 points.
That's what I'm saying. That we actually had bad luck.
And they knew man to man they couldn't beat us. They knew physicality they couldn't beat us. That's why they slowed down the match. Because if we're running the same way we're running,
they'll be tired.
Yeah, would have run them ragged. So they slowed down the ball to their pace, and we not agreed. You rush them.
I thought that Aribo had sense. He has stepped down, Sha. It's okay.
You rush Adam. Aribo was actually your best player because he was doing his job and Wilfred did his job.
Thank you so much, Dorot.
That's what you.
No, Aribo. Sorry, I wanted to say what do you call him?
Cerezo.
We literally just tweeted it at you. Okay, maybe we tweeted it after he asked.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
So
thinking. We have so many messages coming in.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. For me, he was the best player. Because he's the only one that was doing the work. I mean, he was coming all the way to play number 4 position, and Wilfred Ndidi was on the pitch.
Yeah, Wilfred was trying to play a high up. I don't know why he was
Aribo was the one playing box-to-box midfield. He wasn't doing his job. Twice the Tunisians had that shot. Twice they took it. Twice Wilfred Ndidi was escorting them.
Okay.
Okay, we are going to read all the messages.
Plenty of messages.
Okay.
Starting off with Faith.
Okay, so we'll start off with Faith.
We're not taking message. We're not taking calls anymore.
We'll take some calls. We don't have
I
anything
thought,
else.
do you see how this, you know, this mic isn't working, this mouse isn't working,
Okay.
right? Because it's not working, you can't see down. So you have to, okay.
So just come close and read.
You're listening to the Smooth Breakfast right here on Smooth 98.1.
Yes, indeed, right here on Smooth 98.1. It's the Smooth Breakfast and the locker room part of the Smooth Breakfast. Tega Tiger in the studio with Kaide Baker.
And Shopper Martin.
And you, 0809 440 981. That is the number to send your WhatsApp messages in. And so many of you have sent in so many messages. We've just got to get stuck in.
Yeah.
From Faith, we have this one in for the regarding our AFCON exit, because the kinds of curses and threats sent to Madika Okoye are unacceptable and horrible. Those are beyond banter, and Nigerians need to do better. We criticize the British for doing the same to their players of African descent. Now we're doing the same to our own. Very unacceptable.
She's
very
actually
shameful.
she has a point.
Yeah, I don't know why we like to get anyway.
Yeah, she has it.
They
She
should
has
ask,
a
they should ask
big
doing
point.
that last AFCON.
All right, and we've got
Topper
more.
says the red card to Iwobi was harsh. It wasn't intentional at all, and I like the new look of the Super Eagles. Beat Eguavon or Persiro. Abi, this team should stick together.
Yeah.
Okay, and this one in Take Me From Ibadan says this VAR be as you get to get as you be. Comparing Doherty's stamp on Sar with Iwobi's case, Doherty is worse, and the guy didn't even get a yellow, and our dear Iwobi got sent off.
Okay, first of all, that call in England was wrong. But it's EPL and they make wrong calls all the time. I don't care what you say. That should have been a red card. Doherty on Sar. And if it was not a red card, at least give him a yellow. But they didn't even give the foul. But we'll get to that story eventually. So let's read some more
Okay,
messages.
Josh says, I said this on Friday that we Super Eagles peaked too early. We were probably overconfident coming into this game. Then what was the panic substitutions for? Iheanacho could have finished the game even with the yellow card as the best striker.
Well, yeah. So Ugo says,
Too much dramatic about, you know. Overall, like you said, like real kudos. Eguava had just barely how many days or weeks to prepare these guys, and this is the best I've seen in like 4 to like 6 years. Best of Super Eagles, and I think that he should be given a chance to continue the good job. Concerning the Ghana game, I mean the Nigeria Ghana game for the World Cup, I think this is for me. I mean, I think this will serve as a lesson, and I'm sure they have learned their lesson, and will do well in that one to qualify for the World Cup. Good stuff.
Studio. All right, then. Thank you for that call. Okay.
So people making excuses for Eguavon, even if he had 2 days. You saw the first 45 minutes of the match. How about you change tactics in the second? The reason I'm upset is because the Eagles had it in them to defeat the Tunisians easily. Where they beat Nigeria was tactically. That's it. And that's what the coach is there for. You saw the first 45 minutes, your people didn't show. You
I
changed
think the
tactics.
early goal in the second half was what destabilized his tactics. Plus the red card.
Which destabilized, the tactics were destabilized from the beginning when you were playing at their pace. And then you know they are a North African country. So once they score, they will not allow you to score. They will start doing all the antics. That's when their leg will be paining them. If you exhale in their direction, they will roll to the end of the pitch. Those are the things that you prepare for that. You're playing in North African country. Anyway, let's take another story because a lot happened over the weekend.
Yeah, I just want to read out some messages, especially this one, Tyra from Aja, who says, so, because, you know, we had a lot of mouths before. He says, so, this is what losing feels like. No wonder Ghana were so emotional. Anyway, Cameroon is next door, so transport costs shouldn't be high. Also says Iwobi wanted to show support to his comrade Emmanuel Dennis of Watford, so he picked up that red card. All right, so let's move on, like Tega said, because we can spend the whole day talking about this.
Yeah.
But we don't have the whole day. So moving on, Thomas Tuchel saluted Hakim Ziyech after the Chelsea wingers' brilliant strike kept alive their faint Premier League title hopes in a crucial 2-0 win against Tottenham on Sunday. Hey, Tottenham.
Yeah, it's a real faint. Your neighbor, Savi.
Oh my gosh.
It's a real faint title hope. So what they have shown was that Antonio Conte is really afraid of Chelsea. because that's the one team I know that Tottenham plays against, and they don't come out, and they are more cautious about not losing, and they don't try to play any game. I'm not saying that if they came out to play, they could have won. I'm just saying put some pressure on and see what you can come out of the game with. If you lose, you know that you lost fighting. But Antonio Conte hasn't done that. He didn't do that in the cup competition. Over 2 legs. That he played against Chelsea, and he certainly didn't do that yesterday. But yesterday they had some key moments, and I would say this: I don't think that the referee, what's his name again? Something Tierney, Paul Tierney or thereabout, was. I don't think he was biased. I just think he was overwhelmed by the situation. Because for me, yesterday, Tottenham should have had a red card, and Harry Kane's goal should have stood, because I don't think that push in the back, or that, sorry, it was not a push. That hand in the back was enough to take Thiago Silva down. Thiago Silva actually ran past the play, and so once he felt the hand on his back, just went down like a sack of potatoes. But hey, at the end of the day, Chelsea did the work that needed to be done. They won the game, and they've been able to close the gap on a Manchester City side who dropped 2 points against Southampton. You would have expected a team that would give Manchester City problems would be one of the Liverpools or the rest. No, it was Southampton. Man City was losing until Laporte came with a header few minutes to the end of the game. So yeah, good job by Chelsea, but for Antonio Conte and Tottenham Hotspur, they really need to look in the mirror. Not a good day.
We've got about a minute. Let's Taylor wants us let's read out the final few messages, but you know they're about Nigeria at AFCON, right?
Yeah, let's go on.
Hold on. Actually, yes, I forgot there were a couple on youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos on the live stream. And Adefemi Mafe says Burnley haven't lost a league game they played on January 23rd since 1978, and they maintained that record against Arsenal.
Yes, another disappointing performance by Arsenal, drawing to Burnley when they had the chance to bid for top 4. So yeah.
And he also says someone said some fans were using ruler and protractor to argue Man United's goal was offside, only to look for one against Burnley. Whilst Charles Chidozie says after trolling Ghana throughout their stay in AFCON, CAF has decided to have us settle our differences with the World Cup playoffs. It will be bloody. Sadly, we don't have a big game mentality. Someone actually sent a message in about big game mentality on WhatsApp. And LK Aderogba says I've used Chelsea's win to console for Nigeria's loss. Okay then. And she says, oh gosh, please, what's the name of? Oh yeah, Tega Adevex. Truly, Ego Avon didn't change tactics, but what of the foolishness of Iwobi? Well, I'm happy my Chelsea beat the Spurs.
Wow.
And
club over country.
Finally, Alex from Shogunle says, this is the final message, says, Haba! The Super Eagles didn't have a big game mentality. Tega, then lots of question marks and exclamation marks. Also says, against Egypt wasn't a big game. A penny for your thoughts, Tega.
It's a big game mentality. You needed to, with the group stage, you can afford to take risk because you know that you have 2 more games to make up for it.
Tega, I'm disappointed in you.
With 1 game.
I'm disappointed.
They don't have a big game mentality. Carry me to court.
You actually gave him your thoughts for
I have to give him, because sometimes some people,
next time make you $1 million.
Some people will console themselves. The same people that are saying Augustine Ekwavon had only 2 days to when he had the whole 45 minutes to change tactics, he did it. Please, he's my friend too, but even then.
Okay, and on that note, we have got to end the show. So that is it. Make sure you catch Tega up on social media. She is at Tega Supreme. She's always up on Twitter, and you can tackle her there.
Alex can come there.
Alex, you heard. She's waiting for you in the Twitter streets. Coming up is great music all the way up till 11 right here on your Love Music, Love Life station. We are Smooth 98.1.